Today I'm going to be cleaning the CFS500 canister filter that is on my turtle tank. This is the turtle tank. There's the turtle. He's a Rio Slider. There are 3 geophagus. You can see him right here. There's 1 pleco back there. And there is a featherfin catfish in one of these woods. You can see his fin kinda right there. On the intake, so the intake of the CFS500, I have a Eheim intake pre-filter. I also have an Eheim canister, and it has an Eheim pre-filter on it as well. Eheim, it flows. It doesn't really flow that much. That's how much it flows, even fully cleaned. This canister flows, I'd say 3 times, maybe 4 times as much. It really flows a lot more. This is the Eheim canister. I'm only cleaning the Odyssea for today though. It's set up with standard 1-inch pond tubing and hose clamps. And I did change the O-rings to number 17 O-rings, so they snap off easy. It does have a power switch, so I'm just going to turn off the power. We'll close the valves now. Throw an old towel around the connection so when I release it, I won't spill that much water. Just press in on this button right here and it should just snap off. Both connections are snapped off. Unplug the canister. And now I'm just gonna carry it to my sink. This is the specs for the CFS500. This is the V2 model. I'll be opening it up. This canister was cleaned about 3 months ago, so it shouldn't be that dirty. The first thing I do is I pour out some water. Alright, open it up. This is the top pad after 3 months in a turtle tank. It's a blue poly pad. This is the padding. This is the second pad. This one has this has the poly floss pad that I cut myself and put on it, that I replaced. Just a real thin layer, and I put it over this bio fine sponge pad that I cut myself as well. But this is reusable. The only thing I replaced is this poly padding. I will replace this poly padding, and I'll probably reuse this blue poly pad that I usually just wash it every time. Use this as my top pad. Alright, this top pad is clean now, so I'm gonna put it to the side. This is the fine sponge that I cut myself, and then I just wrapped it in. I wrapped it in some poly floss that is buy in bulk from Walmart. The floss gets replaced and the sponge gets cleaned. Alright, this sponge is clean now. The sponge is clean now. So I'm going to put it to the side. Next thing in the canister is this sponge. It's a coarser sponge. So I'm going to clean this one next. Alright, this sponge is pretty clean now. The next thing in the canister is the biomedia. So I'm just going to dump it all into my dish tray. My other Odyssey, I have a mark here, so I know the tube lines up with my mark that I made right here. Right now I'm going to be dumping out that's all the biomedia now. Swirl it around to clean it up a little bit. And then I'm just going to dump it back in. I'm not going to rinse it or anything. The next thing in the canister is another sponge, which is actually this sponge. It's actually this sponge, but what I did was I split the sponge, I cut it so I could have two of them. So I put this in the bottom and put this in the top. So it's actually the same white sponge, but I just split it in half so I could use it twice in two different stages. The last sponge is a black bio sponge. Alright, this sponge is clean enough now. Now I'm just gonna empty out the bucket. The pump is a suction cup down there. To clean it, I'm just gonna use a regular bottle cleaner. Clean out this tube a little bit. This is just twist lock on there, so you just twist it that way and it just pops off. This has a ceramic shaft, so you want to clean that. Your magnet, and you want to clean in here with your bottle brush. Clean your magnet. This is the grease I use for everything. It's just silicone food grade grease. This is diver's grease though. But any type of food grade silicone grease will work. I just put a little bit on the shaft. Put a little bit on my O-ring here. And I put a very light coating on the magnet. put my magnet back in. Put my impeller shaft back in. Put that back on there and then twist lock it. Begin reassembly. You want to find your mark right here and line up your return tube with your mark that you should have made, and put it back in there. It's just suction cups to the bottom. Now you put your sponge back in with the grooves facing down, and your wire comes up through this little groove right here. So you just put this in there. Next I put my other sponge in here, my other coarse sponge. Putting my biomedia back in. Here's the biomedia. Now I just throw it back in there. Just be careful not to get any biomedia in this tube, in your return tube, because you'll have problems. Put something over it or something and dump all your biomedia in. But let me test fit, make sure everything still lines up. Make sure everything still lines up. Yeah, as long as everything still lines up, and you continue to put your biomedia in. Cover your, so you don't get anything in there by mistake, and dump in everything. I put all my bio in there, which this canister holds a lot of biomedia. All my biomedia in, I have it all towards one side, away from the tube, so that I can put the lid back on. Shake it, because if this doesn't line up, then you have to take it all apart just to get it to line back up. So you get it leveled out pretty good. Now I put my pads back in. I'm going, normally you'd want to go with your fine pads and then your coarse, because this filters from the top down, so you'd want to go with your fine pads now and then your coarse later towards the top. But since I already have these, I use these pre-filters, these E-Heim pre-filters, which have a really kind of fine sponge in it, so this already does a decent job at cleaning the water before it even gets to the canister. So that's why I go with coarse now, and then I go fine towards the top instead. So I'm going to put my white sponge back in, which is a sponge that is to split in half. This is just a fine black sponge that I bought and cut it myself to fit here. So I'm going to wrap this in the polyfill. Now I'm just going to cut a piece of this poly padding. So I'm just going to lay it on there. I like to make it a little extra big because I fold it over the edges. And then you just average it. So I'm just going to put it on there, wrap it around the edges a little bit. And my cutout hole. And just stick it on there. I don't really need this other pad, but I just throw it on here for extra. But the poly padding is enough. The white pad. I would normally just I'll just change this white padding that I cut myself, and that's it. I might rinse the biomedia, but that's about it. I don't go all the way down and clean everything. I only clean everything every 6 months or so. Your O-ring sits on the top edge here, on this top lip. So what I do is I just put a little bit of grease on the top lip to make sure it seats good and seals. Now I'm just gonna fill it up with some water, cold water or cool water. Never use hot water. This canister says it's self-priming, but I still fill it up with water before I close it up. Alright, it's about full. You just put your lid on. This is your out tube. Should line up with your out. And get your clamps. Don't over tighten these. Right here, these O-rings, make sure they're number 17 O-rings. You replace them and put some grease on it so it seals good. It comes off easy. Back in the stand. Connect your fittings. That's it. Open the valves. And to prime this is pretty simple. I'm just gonna plug it in. Once it's plugged in, I'm just gonna turn it on. Let it run a little bit. After it runs for about 30 seconds or so, then I'll turn it off and let it purge out some more air. No leaks. But you can hear there's a lot of air in it right now. So I'm gonna turn it off. It's been about 2 minutes now, and it's pretty much almost silent now. There's a little bit of air in it left, but The air should be gone, and it should be completely silent within about half an hour at most. I'll be doing a full cleaning both the intakes and vacuuming the tank and cleaning everything, the sand and everything in the tank, probably tomorrow. But I just wanted to get the canister done today. So it's less work for me tomorrow. Even though the canister only took about 40 minutes to clean and put back in.